Now let's go and implement this method in the user service implementation. So implement methods. So those are the methods that we just added, and I'm just gonna add them to this class. And they're added right here. So I'm gonna move them up. So I'm gonna take these two. I'm gonna take those. You don't necessarily have to do that. Just gonna move them right after the register. I'm gonna put them here. So right after the register, I have the add new user, update and delete, and reset password. So for the add new user, we're gonna do something that's very similar to the register, except for a few tweaks here and there. So the first thing, I want to validate the username and password. So we're gonna call validate username and password, email, well, not but email, validate username and email. And here we're gonna pass in empty again because we don't have anything for the actual current username because this is a new user. And then here we can pass in the username, and then we can pass in the email here. Okay, so this is going to verify to make sure that they're not using an existing username or email or anything like that. So once we can verify that, since this is adding a new user, so we can just do something very similar to this, and then we can go on from there. So let's do, we're gonna create a new user object and new user password. So I'm gonna copy from here because this is pretty much the same thing. So I'll put this here. So we need the user, we need the password, we need the encoded password. And then after that, we can set the set user ID. And here we can call the generate user ID. So generate user ID. And then we can set the first name, and then here we pass in the first name. And we're gonna do the same for the last name. And we're gonna do the same for the join date. So let's do user set join date, and we're gonna do new date. And scroll up a little bit. Let's do user, and we can set the username. So we pass in the username that they passed in, and then we can set the email. Pass in the email. Remember, the email is coming from up here. So in this method, we receive the email. And then we can set active, actually let's set the password. And then we're gonna pass in the encoded password. The user, active, and we're gonna do these active. User set, and let's do not lock. And passing is not locked. And then user, we need to set the role. So here I'm gonna have to create a new method. So get role enum name. So here I'm gonna pass in the actual role that they gave us, like this, and then I can get the name from that because just like the above, we're getting the actual name right like this. So whatever this method is gonna do is gonna return an actual role, which is an enum. So that's why I call it get role enum name. And then here I can just go ahead and create that, and it's gonna return a role, which is this enum right here. Okay, we're gonna work on that in a minute. So then I can set the authorities. So you already know it's gonna be something similar. So it's gonna be like this, and then get authorities because this is returning the role. So, and then after that we can set the profile image. So let's do set profile image URL, and then here we can call get temp profile image URL. So I'm gonna make this take the username. So I'm gonna do username because I'm gonna give that username so that we can use the RoboHash that I just showed you. So we're gonna fix this in a minute. So now I can go ahead and save the user. So I can do user repo and then save, and I can pass in the user. And then once I save the user, I can actually see if I can save the profile image. So I'm gonna call another method, so save profile image, and I'm gonna pass in the username, and I'm gonna pass in the actual profile image. So let's go profile image. So we're gonna also create this method. I'm gonna create this method. It's gonna return that thing, and then we're gonna return the user. So this is what we're gonna be doing here. As you can see, I need to add this exception here to this method signature. So we're gonna validate to make sure that they're not using existing username and password. If that's the case, you know, username already exists or email already exists, then we create a user object, and then we set all the properties on the user object. So I don't necessarily use this anywhere else, so I don't need to do this here. So I'm gonna cut this and then put it here and just remove this line. Okay, so just a little bit of refactoring. So create user object and then set all the properties on it. Let me pass in the whole user here, just in case I need other information so I can save this picture. So what I'm doing here is I'm saving the user first. So I'm doing all of this, right? And then I'm saving the user here. So I'm not gonna try to save the image in the system unless everything here passes. So if anything here fails, then I'm not gonna actually try to save the profile image. So the code will stop here, and then everything will stop. So we're gonna go ahead and fix this. So let me fix this here. So this is a user, and it's dot user. So we can get rid of this error here. And let's go here, and let's make this take the username. So string username, and all we have to do is to pass that username here. As you can see, if you remember, this is user image profile temp. So I'm gonna remove this temp here. I'm just gonna keep user image profile. Actually, this has to do with file, so I'm gonna move it from here to the file constant, which I think I already have. So yeah, default user image path. So remove it. I'm just gonna keep it here. So we already have this here. So now I can pass it here. So let's import that. And this is coming from file constant, as you can see. And then here we're just gonna add in the username. Okay, so that's gonna be we're gonna do it like this instead. And here we also have to pass, when they register, we're gonna also pass the username because it's giving us an error saying we don't pass in the username. Okay, so that way we can create a RoboHash picture for them using whatever username that they pass us. So this is all we have to do for the add new user. The only thing we have to do now is to actually create this save profile image. Whenever they're saving their information, we also have to save their profile image. So we're gonna do that in a few lectures later.